What's going on, baseball fans? How are we doing? So it looks like the Cubs might be facing reality and could be sellers rather soon. Let's go talk about it. Okay, so here is the story. Sources are telling The Athletic that the Cubs are beginning the process of becoming sellers at the trade deadline. This is being reported by Ken Rosenthal and Patrick Mooney. If we take a look at the Cubs lately, I mean, they were playing really well, but look at what they've done in the last 10 games. They're 1-9 in their last 10. They had lost 9 straight at one point. This team was in first place, and they just completely fell off the face of the planet. They haven't had great starting pitching all year, but the offense has been pretty good. The bullpen has been really good. So, in my opinion, I think that starting pitching really came back to bite them. And then the offense, once that slows down and you don't have great starting pitching to go along with it, that's just a recipe for disaster. And this Cubs team, they're now 43-45. I mean, they were just buyers not too long ago. And there was actually something that was said here by Jed Hoyer, the general manager. We've believed in these guys since 2015. Hoyer said Thursday before the Cubs' 8-0 loss to the Phillies at Wrigley Field. They've had a ton of success, and I would never count these guys out. But 11 days ago, we were certainly fully on the buy side of this transaction, and everyone was calling about that. Obviously, people are now calling to see which players are available, so it's a very different scenario than we expected. Life comes at you fast. It's crazy how things can just turn in a matter of a week or 2 weeks. So, again, the Cubs at one point were definitely looking like buyers, and now, I mean, I just don't see a reason to even consider even buying at this point. You're 9.5 out in the division, 8.5 out in the wild card. So what could the Cubs possibly do? They got a lot of assets that they can get rid of that teams would certainly be interested in. You got a lot of guys here. You got just right off the top of the page, I believe they'll probably end up keeping Jason Hayward. I don't see what team would want to take that contract, but definitely an Anthony Rizzo I think could be attractive for a team in need of a bat. Maybe a Kyle Hendricks. He has a pretty friendly contract. I could see the Cubs wanting to hang on to that, though. Craig Kimbrell is definitely a guy for a bullpen that could help someone. Chris Bryant, that's probably the biggest name. He's having himself a pretty good season, a good bounce-back season. He could definitely go somewhere. Javier Baez is going to be a free agent soon. Maybe even Zach Davies. I could see the Cubs maybe wanting to hang on to him. He's had a pretty decent year, but he only has one more year left on his deal, so maybe the Cubs can try and get something for him and from a team that needs starting pitching. You got Jock Peterson there. Maybe you can do something with him. There's also Wilson Contreras. I would imagine they probably want to keep him. You do have some guys on this team that you definitely could get some pieces back for, even someone like an Andrew Chafin. But again, I think the biggest guys, you got a Chris Bryant who's having a good year. He's having a very good bounce back season. 268 average, 16 home runs, 349 on base. If we take a look at some teams that could use some offense, I mean, he's been connected with the Mets for going back to this offseason. If we take a look right now, the Mets rank 24th in offense. So there are some teams, in my opinion, the Mets especially, that really would like to have a Chris Bryant on their team. There's some other teams as well. If we take a look, maybe that could use even maybe a bit more of a bat. Maybe the Yankees, they've been looking for some offense. I don't think that's very likely that they'll go after a Chris Bryant. I mean, maybe you could see someone like Atlanta. They were tied to Chris Bryant in the offseason. But I think to me, the most logical team that makes the most sense is the Mets. So if we just keep going down the list here, and you could even include Anthony Rizzo in some of these conversations. He's having a pretty decent year. 246 average is a little low, but he's got 10 home runs, 33 RBIs, 339 on base. Same thing. Anthony Rizzo could definitely be serviceable. Even Jock Peterson, not a great year by any means, but he is providing power. He's doing what Jock Peterson does. He's going to give you a little power. He'll bat from the left side, more of a platoon kind of a bat. And then there's also, Javier Baez, who's having kind of a wackadoodle kind of a season. 234 average, 21 home runs, 56 RBIs, but a really low on base. But he's got 10 stolen bases. It's such a wackadoodle kind of a season for a Javier Baez. But hey, I know the shortstop market is not very large at this point. You've heard Trevor Story's name out there. I personally think Trevor Story is going to end up staying with the Rockies. The Rockies will offer him a qualifying offer in the offseason. He'll probably turn it down. And then in the return, the Rockies will get a draft pick out of it, because I just don't see the shortstop market being very strong as of right now. I mean, you got teams like Cincinnati, but I don't think the Cubs will, or Cincinnati will want to send prospects back to the Cubs. So that's probably not going to happen. Maybe a team like Oakland. I don't know, but Oakland, hey, we all know Oakland likes players that can get on base. Javier Baez doesn't really get on base so much. I don't know if that's a great fit. So I don't know. I could see Javier Baez end up staying. On the pitching side of things, you got Craig Kimbrel here, who's having a fantastic year. This guy's an all-star this year, back to his old form. Craig Kimbrel could really help out a team in need of bullpen help. I mean, first, I saw something yesterday about maybe the Red Sox maybe being interested. I don't see that happening with that salary. I don't see the Red Sox going over that luxury tax line, but there are some teams that could use some bullpen help. Maybe a team like the Giants, I think, could use another arm out in that bullpen. Even a team, maybe even like the Angels, maybe a second half run, they can go for it and get another arm for that bullpen. I mean, there's some other teams. Houston, I think, could be a really good fit. They could use another arm in that bullpen. Toronto, they've been trying to add bullpen arms for the last couple of weeks now. So maybe Craig Kimbrel could be a pretty good fit with the Blue Jays. I think that could be pretty fun. Washington, if we take a look at Washington as of right now, they're 4.5 out in the division. Maybe they could add someone to the mix in there. Craig Kimbrel, I think, could fit really nicely. There's a lot of teams that could use a Craig Kimbrel, even one of these teams that have good bullpens already. Maybe just shore up that bullpen a little bit more, and you're getting one of the best relievers in the game this year in a Craig Kimbrel. I think that could make a lot of sense. And then you've even got maybe a couple other guys, like a Kyle Hendricks. I could see some teams maybe calling about him. He's having a pretty decent year. He was starting off really poorly, but he has really bounced back. 10-4 on the year, 3.83 ERA. Again, I could see the Cubs wanting to hang on to him because he has a friendly contract, but I definitely could see some teams being interested in a Kyle Hendricks. Zach Davies, again, I could see the Cubs wanting to hang on to him as well, but he is a free agent, so maybe a team in need of some starting pitching could call about those two. If we go take a look at starting pitching right now, I mean, the first team that comes right off the bat to me for starting pitching are the St. Louis Cardinals, but the Cardinals, as of right now, there's no way that's going to happen because they're in the same division. So, but if you take a look at some other teams that could use some starting pitching, the Twins are pretty much out of it at this point. I think Toronto could really use a starting pitcher. I know a lot of Blue Jays fans out there, you're saying the bullpen needs to get paid attention to a little bit more, but I don't think it would hurt to add a guy. Maybe you can go for a guy like a Kyle Hendricks. There were talks this past offseason of Kyle Hendricks maybe going to Toronto. Maybe you could bring those talks back up again. I think Cleveland could be a pretty fun fit for someone like a Zach Davies or a Kyle Hendricks. I don't know. They're starting to fall out of it. We take a look at Cleveland. Cleveland, as of right now, they're in second. They're 5 out in the wild card. I mean, they're kind of like the Cubs. They've just fallen off the face of the planet. So I don't know about that for Cleveland. But you got a team like Atlanta that could really use a starting pitcher. I think Zach Davies could be, I mean, sure, I think they need more top of the rotation kind of a guys, but Atlanta could be a need. Tampa Bay needs some starting pitching. I could see them maybe going for a Zach Davies or even a Kyle Hendricks possibly, or at least giving a phone call. I mean, there's a lot of teams out here. Maybe even, I don't know, the Yankees can make a call. I don't know. There's some teams out here that definitely could make a call. The Cubs have just all the riches right now. Chris Bryant, I definitely think could be a great fit with the Mets. I think Craig Kimbrel, I mean, I actually would really like to see Craig Kimbrel. Well, actually, I would not like to see him with the Blue Jays. That would be, oh, forget that. But can you imagine Craig Kimbrel with the Blue Jays? I mean, I think that would be a great fit. Javier Baez, I could end up seeing stay. Anthony Rizzo, I could see end up staying. Actually, let me take a look at maybe some teams that could use some first base help. If we take a look here, first base, looking at the offense. If we take a look here, so some teams maybe could use some help. I don't know. I mean, Boston's kind of, I don't know. Would Boston want to bring in Anthony Rizzo? I don't know about that. Boston's probably not going to do something like that. But sure, there are some teams here that maybe could use another bat. I think Anthony Rizzo with Tampa would be pretty fun. I don't know. I could be a pretty nice fit if you ask me. There's definitely some teams. Again, the Cubs, they have a lot of pieces here. Chris Bryant, Craig Kimbrel, Javier Baez, Anthony Rizzo, even a Jock Peterson I could see going somewhere. Maybe a Kyle Hendricks and a Zach Davies can get phone calls, asking about their availability. But the Cubs right now, there is a lot to be done in Chicago. I think the Cubs need to just, personally, I don't know. I think they just need to blow it up. Like, just get rid of everyone. Get as many prospects as you can. Get rid of these guys while you still can. And for the Cubs, I think you need to start looking towards the future. This is what you had to do, back in the early 2010s, where you had to, gear up that farm system for a postseason run. Ended up winning a World Series out of it. I think the Cubs need to kind of do something like that again. They need to start getting rid of some of these guys, get some new blood back into that farm system. They really need to replenish that farm system. They need more lower level guys. They have some guys up at the top that could be helpful soon for the Major League club, but I think they need to fill out the bottom half of that farm system, add some more upside, guys that can end up turning into top prospects down the road. For the Cubs, I think this is make or break time. Again, you have some guys becoming free agents with Chris Bryant, Javier Baez, Anthony Rizzo soon. There's a lot of trades that could be done here with the Chicago Cubs, but that's what I'm thinking. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Who do you think the Cubs should trade? Do you think they should just trade everyone? What are some teams that you think would be some good fits for some of these players, like I mentioned, like a Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo, Javier Baez, and so on. But that's all I have for right now. Again, tell me what you think down below in the comments, but I'll talk to you next time.